Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time doing another Disney film review. And this one is on the 2021 film Cruella. Now, as you know, Cruella is meant to be a 2021 crime drama film, which of course is meant to serve as a backstory and a alternative origin story of the main antagonist of the Disney film series 101 Dalmatians. And the best way I can describe Cruella is basically Disney's answer to doing their own take of the DC film Joker. And the premise of the film is meant to follow in 1964 how we kind of see Estelia is meant to have black and white hair, and we kind of see right away after getting into trouble at school for getting into multiple fights, we see how her and her mum Catherine decide to move to London, and after a incident that happens at Hellman Hall, which results in her mother's death, we see how basically Estella ends up meeting Horace and Jasper and ends up meeting the Duchess, who's meant to be this fashion designer. And right away, we see how Estella goes from a whole rags to riches storyline, where she essentially tries to rise to the top and learns more about her mum's connections with the Baroness. And I think the whole point of the film is meant to also explain the difference between Estella and Cruella. Like, obviously, Estella is meant to be her original persona, while Cruella is meant to be her true self. And I think what the film is trying to do is do a more kid-friendly-ish version of the Joker. Because I think what made Joker work was that despite Arthur's being the world's punching bag, most of the problems Arthur got himself into was indirectly his own fault and could have moved past it. Here, it just feels like Estella's there to try and kind of be a better person, but with all the circumstances happening around her, it takes away certain moments that could have worked, like her sort of designing her black and white hair to show that she's given up being nice, and could have had as well ended up meeting Horace and Jasper years later to have her as her own henchman. And I think it takes away crucial moments that made Horace and Jasper work as a duo. Because one, Horace and Jasper were a pair of basically bumbling burglars who Cruella hired, not only as her henchmen, but someone she could use for her own benefits to get the whole Dalmatian puppies. Well, I think they do right in bringing in Anita as well as Roger into the film, but it takes away the whole point of what made Anita's character work. In the animated one, Anita knew Cruella from childhood. She really thought she was a good friend, despite seeing that the good in her was just a reflection of herself. Roger, on the other hand, in the animated one, was meant to be cautious of Cruella's character. It's clear that he knew right away. It's clear that he knew right away that Cruella was just no good, and even had his suspicions she was up to something. I can see where obviously the live action one is going for, having him originally working for the Baroness until deciding to become a songwriter, which implies that he was following more of his own passion. And I think what the film is trying to do is build up this big mystery about the Baroness and who she really is. But the problem is, it's quite obvious to know when you know right away who she's meant to be. When you study her sort of mannerisms, how she acts, it kind of mirrors obviously Estella, and it kind of makes it obviously clear that her as well as Estella are linked together, which I think could have been handled a bit better. Because one, what made the film Joker work was that Arthur Fleck idolised Murray Franklin. He thought he was his idol, until he realised Murray Franklin showed no concern or care for anyone. Rather than admitting responsibility on his part that he had idolised someone he didn't know, he axed him off live on TV and became everything that he feared. What made the moments with Bruce Wayne, as well as his parents, work, it links to Arthur's story with his mum, and it became clear Arthur tried to kind of know more about Thomas Wayne than really stopping to think if Thomas Wayne really had any info. And it becomes clear that even Thomas Wayne had his limits with Arthur when he got more into personal stuff that he shouldn't have been talking about. I think the best way I can describe Cruella, it's just there to serve as a simple backdoor sort of film leading up to a potential live action 101 Dalmatians film. But I do admit, I do give Emma Thompson credit, is that she's at least trying to take some inspiration from Glenn Close's performance as Cruella back in the live action 101 Dalmatian films, and she obviously knows she's trying to kind of work with whatever was given. So the best I can say is, it's there to be Disney's take on Joker, nothing more. So it definitely deserves a thumbs in the middle. Kind of alright, kind of okay, just there to be live action Disney film slop, nothing more. So, comic reviewer here, signing out.